What's going on, guys? It's Sinju in Japan here. I feel like there's just enough footage for us to take a deep look at the mechanics in the game. Let's see what we can find. What's going on, my boys? Hey, we got a long one here for you today. But before we go over the mechanics in Demon Slayer Hinokami Kaputan, let's briefly go over my knowledge about the Storm games and their mechanics. So this is pretty much how the Storm games work. You can charge your chakra with triangle, you can do melee attacks with circle, you can jump with X, and you can throw shuriken with square. Now you can block with R2 and sub with L2. In Storm 3 and Rev, you can go Instant Awakening with the right analog stick, but in Storm 4, you can use that to switch. And to call your assist, you use L1 and R1. Now that we've gone over the previous mechanics in Storm, we can go over the new mechanics in Demon Slayer Hinokami Kaputan. Oh, and shout out to Globku for the translation footage. Alright, so right off the bat, I already noticed major differences in the Storm series mechanics in this game. The combo button is square, the technique button, which is the jutsu, is triangle, you have the track and dash, which is basically the dash, and you can also use the analog stick to do a sidestep with this. You have the jump button as X. You can guard with R1 or even grab by adding the square button to the block button. Your ultimate attack is R2 and your awakening is L2. You can also call out your assist by tapping the L1 button or holding it to switch with them. Alright, so that covers the basic button layout for the game. Now that we've gone over the basics, I want to take you guys on a deep dive into the mechanics and what I think could possibly be the meta for this game. Now, I've seen a lot of reviews and breakdowns of what people think this game will turn into, but my keen eye has noticed some things that other people haven't really touched on or talked about yet. So I'm just going to start off by saying this now. This is not a Storm 5. This is not a sequel. This is a completely different game. This game definitely has a Storm costume on if it was going to a Halloween party or something. Now, before you trip, that doesn't necessarily mean that's a bad thing. I actually think it's a good thing. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about all the meters that are going to be in the game. I definitely think one of the biggest competitive aspects of this game will be managing your meter. Okay, so there's a health bar, an assist gauge, also a support gauge, a meter, that's what you would call your chakra in Storm. A skill stock, that is your ultimate gauge, the little diamond down there that stacks up to 3 times. I'm currently not sure, depending on the level, if it adds damage or not, or if you're able to stack it between rounds. And finally, we have the skill gauge, which is basically your awakening, just like in the Storm games. Alright, so let's take a deeper look into the health. So what I noticed is, when you win a round in this game, it restarts your health. In Storm, it does not. What Storm does is basically it makes you play catch up after you lose a round or win a round, depending on the life. Now I can already tell you the life gauge will be way shorter than the Storm games. Now in total, Storm 4 has about 4 life gauges. The green, the yellow, and then that restarts after you win a round, so it basically doubles up, making it 4 life bars. Now Demon Slayer only has 1 life bar. They have 3 rounds, which would make that 3, if that is the default number of rounds you have in a game, and assuming if you win each round. Alright, so up next is one of the most important things I think that'll be in the game, and that's the actual meter, or what you would call in Storm, chakra gauge. Now this right here is going to be so crucial to the gameplay. You have 5 stamina bars. Now everything you do revolves around these stamina bars, and you cannot charge them up normally like in Storm. Remember, CC2 got rid of that triangle button, so yeah, ain't no more charging. But see, what they did is that opens up the game for more opportunity, because now you don't have to waste time on charging or find little pockets to charge up. Alright, so get this, the stamina bar goes up automatically, so what that does is frees up more time for neutral. This game will be very neutral base heavy, and everything you do takes meter. Dashing, doing your techniques, your ultimates, canceling your combos, everything. So the only time this doesn't go up is when you're doing any type of sidestep. So in the Storm series, you can run away really easily and get away from mostly anything. It's pretty annoying. But in this game, I don't think it'll be so easy to run away. There really won't be anything to gain. If you don't have meter, you might lose the game. But hey, to each his own. Win how you want to win. Alright, now this next mechanic is very important to the game. Like, I can't stress this enough. That mechanic is your guard. You know, blocking. Now I know it sounds simple, but it's way more complex than you think. Now back in Storm, like most games, they have a guarding system as well, but the guarding system in this game compared to Demon Slayer is way weaker. Alright, so how it works in Storm is while your guard is getting hit, it starts at blue, casually goes down to orange and yellow, then goes to red and eventually breaks. If you were caught lacking in the air, your guard would break super fast. That's not a good look. Now in Demon Slayer, it's damn near the opposite. You hit that guard, it's not changing colors, it's not budging, it's not doing nothing. Alright, so here's how the guard system works in Demon Slayer. You got your regular block, which is R1. You have a push block, which is holding R1 and then using the analog stick. And then you have a parry that activates when you tilt based on your correct timing. Now these guarding mechanics are very special to the game because now the game is incorporating 2D fighting elements into a 3D fighting arena. You got the push block, that's basically a get off me tool. You have your parry, which incorporates a lot of skill because now you have to make time-based judgments on every character's strings. Now see, with all those block options, I can already see opportunities to get punished off of them as well. I can definitely see players anticipating the push block or the parry, cancel into a backdash, open up your opponent, and I mean really catch them lacking. Alright, this next factor in the game really explains why the blocking is so dominant. That's the escape mechanic. Now this mechanic is way different than how it was in Storm. In Storm, they really had 4 subs that you could really go off in. A lot of options to get out of crazy situations. Now in Demon Slayer, you only have one window every 14 seconds to escape a combo. Now it uses the support gauge as a means to do that. But remember, that meter is shared, so if you call it your assist or switch, you could end up losing out on that chance to use the escape mechanic to get out of the combo. I mean, there's only 2 support gauge bars that are there, and one escape mechanic gets rid of both of them. Now you can see why I think blocking in this game will be so important. Now let's go over the techniques that are in the game, basically the same thing as the jutsus that are in Storm. Now Demon Slayer has 3 different techniques that you can do all in one match. You use triangle for your first technique, you use the analog stick plus triangle to do your second technique, and then for your third you use R1 plus triangle. Alright, so how this differs from Storm is you have multiple options to pick different jutsus, but you can only use one of those jutsus in the game. Now with Demon Slayer, you can use all 3 on one game. That sounds like variety to me. Alright, let's get into the Awakening and Ultimate Gauge. Now these 2 mechanics coexist together because they share the same meter. You can stack the meter up to 3 times and you have 3 chances to do either one. Now I definitely think both options would be crucial to the gameplay because the ultimate technique will do massive damage and the Awakening will add speed, damage, and extra strings to your combos. Now the final mechanic I'm going to talk about is the heavy attack. Now how you use this is just holding the square button or the melee button down to do a harder hitting attack. But as far as information on if it can do anything else such as break somebody's guard, which would be very crucial to the gameplay, has yet to be determined. Alright my boys, that's my full breakdown of the mechanics and what I think will be the new meta in the game. Oh, and if you like the video, then like the video. It's your boy Senju in Japan. I'll see you soon.